Hey, I'm Jen, and this is the podcast that feels like a weekly catch up with your honest, encouraging best friend. The Jennifer Kwapis podcast is all about helping you slow down, reflect, and refocus on what really matters without the pressure to have it all figured out. Each week, we'll talk about mindset, boundaries, self compassion, and how to live with more intention and grace. No fluff, no perfection, just real talk, gentle nudges, and honest reminders to come back to yourself. Hit follow and join me. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, friends, welcome back to the Jennifer Kwapis podcast, the space where we untangle the messiness of mindset, growth, and the beautiful chaos of being human. I'm your host, Jennifer, and today we're diving deep into something that I think a lot of us are feeling right now: exhaustion. And I'm not talking about I didn't sleep well last night exhaustion. I mean that deep, soul level tiredness that coffee can't fix. If you've ever found yourself asking, why am I always so tired? Even when you technically got 7 or 8 hours of sleep, this episode is for you. Because, spoiler alert, it's not just about your sleep habits, it's about your life habits. Okay, guys, speaking of life habits, Drew and I bought our first camper in June of 2016. Brooke had just turned 2, and I was 6 months pregnant with my son, Reed. Not only has camping provided our family with a million adventures, raised my kids with resilience and a love for the outdoors, but it was one of the biggest helpers with me coping with the loss of my mom. If you've ever lost a parent or close loved one, you know that nonstop urge of reaching for your phone to call them or turning around and thinking you're going to see them standing in your kitchen. And I saw my mom in every room of my house, and not in that creepy sixth sense sort of way, but in that way that you wished that she would be there, or that lump just built up in your throat again and again. She was so incorporated into our lives that there really wasn't anything we did without her. But camping, we had never done that before, and I had never done that with my mom. So that was something brand new for me. Going away on those trips taught me how to focus on my family. It seemed to slow down time and make our weekends count towards the things that we valued. It kept my mind focused on my family and a little bit distracted off the fact that my mom was not with us. It was uninterrupted time, just the four of us being outside in nature, making memories, letting our kids explore and get dirty. Because if you've camped before, you know no one cares about what you look like or what you do for a living when you're out camping. It's just being out in nature. The people around you at those campgrounds all value the same things you do: waking up early to take your kids fishing, packing up coolers and snacks to spend an afternoon on the beach, building sandcastles and getting spa treatments from your kids as they create sandy paste to bury your legs in, bike rides to get ice cream, or waiting out temper tantrums as they're thrown from exhaustion in the middle of that very same bike trail. Anyways, what I'm trying to tell you as I take this stroll down memory lane is that Drew and I pivoted in life to create what we wanted to go after when we bought that camper. We decided that we valued the time that we had together, and we began booking trip after trip to set out as a new family of four to navigate what life had ahead for us and find our new normal. However, 9 years have passed and our children have grown, and we recently had to reevaluate what the next 10 years will look like for our family. And while we still value our time together and love the outdoors, it looks different today and in our future than it has in the past. And for this reason, we sold our camper. Our kids are becoming young athletes. And as parents, we love our time spent on the sidelines and in gyms and various training facilities, cheering them on and brushing them off. It's a time in our life to really grow our little humans into the best versions of themselves. We want to back them in their dreams along the way, and with many weekends being filled with sporting events and sleepovers, it's time to pass our home on wheels on to the next family who can enjoy it. We have plans to continue our adventures further from home now that the kids are older and we can jump in a car and drive longer without having to tow something behind us or even get on a plane to take those trips. We'd like to do some national parks and just some new vacations all the way around, which is why I loved talking to Bonnie in episode 11 about new travel ideas. If you're interested in the same and you missed that episode, go back and take a listen. But yeah, I thought I would share with you all that the Kwapis family has closed another chapter in our book and yet are excited to start a new one. But let's get into it for today. And today's episode is called Life is Stressful, and here's why you're really exhausted all the time. And I want to remind you all that exhaustion isn't always physical, it's emotional and mental too. Most of us are living in a constant state of tension, even if we don't realize it. We carry invisible backpacks full of expectations, pressure to perform, the mental load of managing other people's emotions, people pleasing, and constant decision making. That mental weight, it's draining you. And it's not just draining your energy, it's draining your joy, your creativity, your patience, and your presence. We're not just tired because we're busy. We're tired because of the emotional energy leaks we're not even aware of. So, what are these hidden energy drainers? Let's talk about that. To name a few, overcommitting, saying yes when you mean no. And I know we've talked about this one before, but I'm going to keep bringing it up because it's really important and it's changed my life in trying to manage a busy schedule and having young kids and working full time and still wanting to put in time and effort for myself and my marriage and all the things I love and care about. So, overcommitting, saying yes when you mean no, is a huge energy drainer, guys. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And I think my friend Rachel Hollis, well, my friend that she doesn't even know she's my friend, for that saying that has stuck with me and made me made so many changes going forward. So I hope maybe you hearing me say it might be something that sticks with you. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Okay. So another hidden energy drainer is micromanaging everything and everyone. Now I know you're like, but it's my job. I'm the mom, I'm the wife. And it is. Okay, but you might have control issues, as I know I do too. Like, it's okay to let it get handled by your spouse or your dad or your aunt or uncle. It's okay to ask for help and let someone else handle something. I know it might not be handled the way you want it to be handled, but it will get done and it will give you a little bit of your time and energy back. So, ask for help and stop trying to micromanage everything and everyone. And I could probably do a whole episode on that. I'm going to make mental note of that one. Another one is people pleasing. And we did have a whole episode on that one. But trying to manage how others perceive you is a huge energy drain. And it is not worth it, guys. It doesn't matter what other people think. And I'm reading this wonderful book, if you haven't noticed, on my social media sites called Let Them by the wonderful Mel Robbins. And that goes hand in hand with that whole people pleasing topic. Trying to manage how others perceive you, let them. Let them perceive you the way that they want to perceive you. Let them think what they want to think. It has nothing to do with you. And it's really, frankly, none of your business what other people think. Okay. Okay. So the next energy drainer is arguing with reality, meaning wishing people were different than they are. So the second part of that book from Mel Robbins, the first part was let them, meaning the way others think. The second part of that is let me. Okay. So let me is going to come in with this arguing with reality and wishing people were different than they are. And it's a really tough lesson to learn. And I am still learning that lesson right now in my life. And it's too fresh to break wide open and really discuss. But it's difficult when people don't live up to an expectation. I know that's not the way I want to say that, but that's what's coming to mind right now. Or just they don't react or support you in a way that they have in the past. And that's a jagged pill to swallow. But you know what? You can't control what you can't control. So let them do what they need to do and let yourself heal in a way that is productive, and you can focus your energy on things you can control. But arguing with the reality of the situation that you know deep down in your gut is true is a waste of your time and energy. Hopefully that made sense. I feel like I just spun into a vague circle, but I hope you caught what I'm saying. And the last energy drainer that I want to bring up is unclear boundaries. And we've had a whole episode on this as well. So I'm going to link all of these other episodes in my show notes. I think I can do that. So if you've missed any of these, please circle back to those and make sure that you're listening. But unclear boundaries, or setting unclear boundaries, or consistently breaking boundaries, is a huge energy drainer. And here's where it really gets real. Most of us are volunteering for this kind of stress. We're showing up for jobs, relationships, and roles that don't align with who we are anymore, and wondering why we feel burnt out. Yes, I just said don't align with who we are anymore, because we're human. We evolve and we grow, and things change. And the things that we do in our day to day also may need to change to adapt to who we've become, or what we've learned, or what isn't serving us anymore. So let's get into that a little bit more. When we grow but don't adapt, and here's something that doesn't get talked about enough: you're exhausted because you've changed, but your life hasn't. As we grow emotionally, spiritually, even just with time, our values shift, our capacity shifts, our vision for what we want changes. But if our habits, routines, and obligations stay stuck in an old version of us, they start to feel heavy, out of sync, misaligned, and that misalignment creates friction. And here's what that friction looks like in real life: you say yes to social events that don't feed you because old you was always down for every and any social event. And I'm saying this because that's me. I've been there. I've also adapted away from that and I'm still working on it. But don't say yes to the social event just because you always have and you feel like you always need to continue. If it doesn't serve what you're after or into in this day and time, don't say yes. It's okay to say no. Here's another friction you may be playing out in your own life: you keep pouring into a relationship or a job that doesn't reflect your current values. Now, I can totally relate to this one. And while I know I have a wonderful job and I am blessed and I have worked very hard for that job and that company, our values don't align the way they used to. The company has grown and shifted and changed, and so have I. We got to come work from home day in and day out during COVID, which I understand was during a pandemic. But I feel very much like once I had to start going back into the office, that a huge part of what made me happy has been ripped away from me. And I know that company has things to accomplish and they're going to go about it the way that they see fit. And I can respect that. But I also am very much missing a piece of myself that so loved not feeling like I was half in two places, day in and day out. And what I mean by that is, if you know and you leave the home and you go away to the office for work, it's your way, right? You forgot to take something out for dinner. It's weighing on your mind. You wonder if you reminded your kid to put their folder in their backpack, whatever it may be, right? But when I was at home, I could simply get up and go look. Oh, nope, folder's not here. Great. Kid took it to school. End of story. Get back to work without that thought weighing in the back of your mind. Oh, I got to take something out of the freezer for dinner. Get up, go take it out of the freezer, put it on the counter to thaw. Boom, done, over with. Back to work and can focus on your job. So I definitely felt like I got so much more work done and was more productive with work because all of those thoughts weren't bouncing around in my head. Furthermore, I got to put my kids on and off the bus every single day. And I can't put into words the way that made me feel as a mom. You're a full-time working mom and you're out of the house, you have mom guilt and you feel like you're missing out on some of the things, and you are missing out on some of the things and daily routines that happen. And while I have a wonderful supportive husband and we are a great team and we make sure that we're covering each other, I don't like missing out on any of it. And so now I struggle and have this chip on my shoulder because I get up early and get ready and go into an office to sit there and do a job that I could do just as well and did just as well, if not better, from the comforts of home. Okay, but I'm going to get off that soapbox. However, I just wanted to give you an example that maybe you could relate to about what I meant when I say you keep pouring into a relationship or a job that doesn't reflect your current values. And that can happen in relationships as well, not just a job, right? If you are continuously reaching out to a friend or a loved one and it feels very one sided and you keep trying to have them over, but it's never reciprocated, or something is bothering you and you tell them that it's bothering you and they just only care about their side of the story, is it worth your time and energy to continue to pour in to that relationship? What is it doing to you mentally? What is it doing to you physically? Because I know with a current situation in my life, as I mentioned earlier, it's gut wrenching and it tears me apart. So I had to change my focus and shift on what I could control rather than continuously trying to explain myself or get them to see my side of the story or understand why I was upset when clearly they don't care. Okay, moving on to the next one. You stay in a should mindset, what you should do, who you should be, even though it doesn't match what you truly want anymore. Every time you do something that doesn't align with who you've become, you will leak energy. You will lose focus. You start to feel numb or resentful, like I just talked about with having to go back in the office. Am I giving them my all into that company like I used to? No, I feel a little resentful that they stripped something away from me that I built upon for the last 3 years, because part of me knows I'm betraying my growth to stay comfortable or liked. And what that means for my job for me is I'm simply now just trading my time for a paycheck, and it doesn't feel good. It feels like wasted energy, which brings us to something that will set you free. And that is, I'm going to circle back to it. I touched on it a few minutes ago, the let them theory. If you're like me and always on the lookout for new styles but hate the hassle of shopping, I've got just the thing for you: Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix is a personal styling service that sends you hand-picked clothing and accessories right to your door. Here's how it works. You'll start by filling out a quick quiz about your style preferences on their website or app. It's fun. It helps your stylist get to know your unique fashion preferences, sizes, and even your budget. Next, your personal stylist curates a box of items just for you. And let me tell you, they are spot on. Every piece feels like it was chosen just for me and it fits. You can try everything on in the comfort of your home, keep what you love, and send back what you don't. It's that easy. I've been using Stitch Fix for 3 years now, and it has completely transformed my wardrobe. No more crowded malls or endless scrolling through online stores. Plus, the excitement of receiving a new box and discovering what's inside is like opening a present. Best part, there's something for everyone: men, women, kids, you name it. Whether you need casual wear, workout outfits, or something special for an event, Stitch Fix has got you covered. And hey, if you're not sure about something, their customer service is top notch and is always ready to help. So if you're ready to elevate your style and make shopping a breeze, head over to stitchfix.com or download their app on your phone. Even better, head into the show notes and I'll include a link for $25 off your first order. Enjoy! All right, this is where I want to bring in something that has changed the way I think. And again, I'm going to bring up her name is Mel Robbins, The Let Them Theory. Wonderful book. If you haven't read it, pick it up at your library, order it on Amazon. It's a great read. But in a nutshell, the idea is if someone wants to leave, let them. If someone wants to judge you, let them. If someone doesn't see your value, let them. Let them. It sounds simple, right? But it is incredibly powerful because a huge source of your exhaustion is this subconscious belief that you have to control or manage how others behave, feel, or think about you. And when you let that go, when you adopt a let them mindset, you free up so much emotional energy. You stop arguing with people who aren't willing to understand you. You stop performing for people who already decided they don't like you. And you stop trying to fix things that were never yours to fix in the first place. So, what happens when you start letting people be who they are? Here's the truth, guys. People are going to be who they are. They're going to misunderstand you. They're going to leave. They're going to scroll past your best efforts, and they're allowed to. But their behavior doesn't have to rob you of your peace. That part is up to you. When you embrace the let them theory, you stop fighting so hard. You stop over functioning in relationships. You start trusting that who you are is enough and that the people who are meant to be for you won't need to be convinced. You free yourself from this invisible job description that you never applied for, the fixer of everyone else's feelings, the manager of other people's opinions, the performer of conditional approval. And the moment you let them be them, you create a space for something so much more important. Let them is reclaiming your power, guys. Okay, so now let's jump into that part 2 of the let them theory that I touched on, and that was the let me. Reclaiming your power. This is the second part of the Mel Robbins let them theory. Let them is about surrender. Let me is about stepping up. Let me focus. Let me rest. Let me learn. Let me grow. Let me make mistakes. Let me take care of myself. Let me is a powerful act of ownership. It redirects your energy from the uncontrollable other people to the one thing that you actually can control, you. Because here's the thing, you're not tired because others are draining you. You're exhausted because you haven't given yourself permission to change the rules. Let me is how you set boundaries without guilt, say no without over explaining, make decisions that prioritize your peace, and show up for your goals and your growth unapologetically. It's a declaration. Let them do what they're going to do, and let me do what I need to do. Okay, so now that we talked about let them and let me, let's t- let's discuss how to reclaim your energy today. If you've been feeling like life is just one long to-do list and you're always at the bottom of it, I know you're shaking your head right now because I am shaking my head. And I practice this stuff and read this stuff day in and day out. But here are a few steps you can start taking today. And here comes my lists, my favorite. Number 1, audit your energy leaks. What are you doing out of obligation instead of alignment? Number 2, stop the over explaining. You don't need to justify your boundaries. You're allowed to say no without a PowerPoint. And number 3, adopt a mantra like let them. Let them judge, let them gossip, let them underestimate you. Your job is not to control. Your job is to stay aligned to yourself and to your own goals and growth. And number 4 is rest isn't a reward, it's a requirement. Schedule it, protect it, prioritize it like your peace depends on it because it does. Okay, so to recap, we're reclaiming our energy today by auditing our energy leaks. We're going to stop over explaining. We're going to adopt the mantra, let them, and then also let me. And we're going to remember that rest is not a reward, it's a requirement. So, final thoughts and my challenge for you all. If you've been walking around wondering why you're so tired all the time, maybe it's not your body. Maybe it's your soul. You're tired from all the pretending, pleasing, performing, and over caring. This week, I challenge you to try one thing. When something or someone feels heavy, ask yourself, what would happen if I just let them? And then watch what opens up. That's it for today's episode of the Jennifer Kwapis podcast. If this spoke to you or if you felt seen, please share it with a friend, leave a review, or tag me on socials at Jennifer Kwapis. If you haven't seen, I'm trying to reach a goal of 30 listens in the first 7 days of an episode. So if you can listen and you can share it with a friend, we can reach that goal together, and we can also help spread this message to everybody and anybody that might need to hear it. Until next time, take care of yourself, let them be them, and get some rest. You've earned it.